So right now there's no way to really optimize for conversions from the LLMs. What we do notice is that traffic that does come from one of those referral sources, ChatGPT, Perplexity, they do convert at a much higher rate than someone that just came in through traditional search.
What's the biggest risk of brands who are not adapting to AI?
Yeah, there's two ways. I mean, if you're...
Hello and welcome to another episode of the eCommerce Coffee Break podcast. AI is changing e-commerce fast and the brands using it are winning. It's boosting visibility, conversions and retention like never before, but many founders still don't know how to use AI for real results. Today we explore why AI optimization is the next big growth lever for e-commerce. And joining me for that today on the show is Dr. Jonathan Snow. He's the Chief Innovation Officer at Avenue Z, four-time founder, US Air Force veteran and top advisor for Shopify brands, Shopify Plus, TikTok Shop, and many more. He also serves on the board of Georgia's and speaks at major industry events like KeyBlanc's Emerging Tech Summit and DTCX. So we have a lot to cover. Let's welcome Jonathan to the show. Hi, John. How are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Some really nice topics today. We were talking about AI and how it affects marketing and everything that comes with it. What's the biggest problem you see right now with e-commerce brands when they approach AI?
Right now, the number one biggest issue that brands probably aren't even thinking about is how has media buying changed given AI and machine learning have gotten much stronger in 2025 over previous years, and how should that be impacting your strategy? So a lot of brands are stuck in the old ways of media buying, and they're launching 20 high-end creatives per month, or maybe 30 or even 50 if they're really feeling good that month. But that's a fraction of what they need to be doing to truly reap the benefits of the new machine learning models that Meta, AppLovin, and some of the other channels have deployed. So instead of launching 50 ads per month, how can you launch 500 to 1,000 ads per month? And so we've been focusing a lot on how to meet the level of volume that is sufficient for the machines to actually serve the right ad to the right person at the right time.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, it's highly competitive, and you see that the different tools, the different platforms like Meta and Google are adding more and more AI tools to that. And it might be overwhelming for brands out there to really get the grip on what's happening. What's the best approach right now in being, let's say, on Meta to really facilitate all the features they offer?
Yeah, you need to pick and choose how many tests you have going on at once. You can get really overwhelmed by that. Simple is better. So consolidating your ad account and trying to drive true learnings through A/B testing, an actual experiment, rather than have a bunch of different tests going simultaneously. The actual AI tools that will help you succeed and meet the volume requirements of the platforms are actually external to the platform. So are you using AI creative tools to help you create iterations of top performing creatives at scale? Are you using ad publishing tools that are third party, using the API of the different ad platforms so that you can launch 100 ads in the matter of minutes rather than hours? So, and those are all external to the platforms. They're integrated with the platforms, but we're spending a lot of our energy to reap the benefits of AI in the platform, actually outside of the platform through those third-party tools.
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting approach there. And I think you're deeply into AI right now. So at Avenue Z, you have created something that's called the AI Visibility Index. What does that mean?
Yeah, so now we're talking about AI search optimization and the world of search and chat with ChatGPT and Perplexity, Google AI overviews. And so AI Search Visibility Index report is a series of industry leading reports that focuses on a different industry or different product vertical every month. And so what we do is our last report that came out was beauty in e-commerce. So we looked at the top 60 beauty brands and came up with a series of prompts that related to all 60. And then we started tracking how do each of those 60 brands rank in AI search optimization versus the others for the prompts that we had selected. And then we're looking at it, how do they rank in ChatGPT versus the others? How do they rank in Perplexity? How do they rank in Google AI overviews? And what we find is that every model is very different. So ChatGPT likes certain things way more than Perplexity does and Google AI overviews. And so these visibility index reports are really bringing those things to life. And essentially, we're just looking at what percentage of the time was your brand mentioned in each of those prompts, in each of the models. And then with what sentiment was it mentioned? Was it mentioned favorably by ChatGPT and the others, or was it neutral, or was it negative? And so it starts giving you an idea of what drives performance on each of those models. And then we can use that as the foundation for strategy if any of those are our clients.
I think there's a huge mind shift going on right now, because obviously the last, 25 years, search engine optimization was one thing. And I think these things are changing quickly right now, specifically when it comes how people look for brands, look for products. And at the end of the day, probably they will buy, and we can see the first things happening right now through AI. How do you help brands in really getting the visibility in these AI tools?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty simple. And fortunately, we have all of the pillars of AI search optimization internally. So it's really a function of PR. So getting third-party validation and different publishers. If you're a beauty brand, you want to be in Vogue, you want to be in Birdie, you want to be in all of those type of third-party sources. And that is like the bulk of AI search optimization today, at least. And then the other pillar is traditional SEO. So technical SEO on your website, make sure that it's easily read, easily digested. Everything is clean on the website. And then there's obviously content, like blog content on the website as well. So those are the main drivers. And then something that also impacts the algorithm for each model is how much volume went to those on-site content pages, how much volume went to those third-party publisher pages. You can't just spin up a domain that has zero authority and zero traffic and expect ChatGPT to like start ranking it in the model. So it's paid media, basically. It's PR and it's SEO.
Mm-hmm. What's your take on how can not only for visibility to be getting found on the web or in ChatGPT or Gemini, whatever you're using, but also helping with conversions? Is there something conversion optimization related within these tools?
So right now, there's no way to really optimize for conversions from the LLMs. What we do notice is that traffic that does come from one of those referral sources, ChatGPT, Perplexity, they do convert at a much higher rate than someone that just came in through traditional search, especially if it was non-branded. So we're getting higher intent traffic to the website because it's coming from a recommendation made by the machines, which is interesting. So it's like a new word of mouth channel. And something to also consider, I have so many brands that come to us saying like, oh yeah, I looked at my UTM report and ChatGPT sent us X amount of traffic and X amount of revenue. What they don't realize is that ChatGPT barely links directly to a brand's website, at least at the very moment today. The only links that it really cites are those third-party validation sources. So if it used PR, like a top 10 listicle, or if it used any type of PR or third-party trusted source, even Reddit, Wikipedia, any social platform, it'll cite those and link those things. But if it does recommend, let's just say Clinique as a recommended brand, it will not link you to the product page for the product to go then and purchase. And so a lot of the referral traffic has no click. There's no UTM. So a lot of this is masked. What it'll do is it'll show you 5 brands that it recommends based on your prompt. And then you're going to go in, you're going to copy that one, and you're going to paste it into Google search, and it'll come in as branded search. And then your branded search is going to be mixed with obviously regular word of mouth channels, traffic that was generated, awareness was generated on paid media, but then also you're going to have a lot of your AI search traffic come in through branded or direct or wherever it may be. And it's kind of like a silent referral source right now. So it's something to think about. I recommend every brand on your post-purchase survey, that first question, how did you hear about us? You're going to have the classic like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You need to have ChatGPT, Perplexity, or other AI chat solution as one of those answers. And you're going to start seeing a lot of those response rates are actually going to be way higher than what is being tracked on your UTM reports.
I think a lot of marketers are now in trouble because obviously then it becomes very difficult to track where the sales is coming from. But I think that's like a fluent process, and it will get better over time.
One thing that you can track, and that's what we're doing, is what I said before, is how many times is your brand being mentioned by ChatGPT and the other LLMs. And then that's always going to be correlated to revenue at the end of the day. If you're getting, referenced 5,000 times a month versus 50 times a month, obviously it's all about percentages. The percentage of that traffic will eventually convert. So that's the thing you can control.
Okay, no, makes perfect sense. Let's talk about retention. How can you facilitate or use AI to build up more retention with your brand?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really think it all comes down to personalization at the end of the day. So how are you going to be converting people through email, SMS? And if it's just through a standard flow where it's like, oh, you abandoned your cart, or oh, your order might be, your product might be running out. It's time to purchase your next one. People are just accustomed to ignore those things now. Imagine if you had an AI agent or an AI driven salesperson that texted a person and personalized it to them. And it didn't look like a spammy, order replenishment flow. It looked like actually someone that's messaging you to see how it's going so far. And if they liked it, then remind them, hey, if you're running out here, then purchase it. Better experience, better conversion rate. So we're testing some AI-driven tools right now for both SMS through iMessage and also through WhatsApp to really replace a lot of these automated flows to make it a more personable experience and convert better traffic.
Mm-hmm. Now, your title is Chief Innovation Officer, which I find is absolutely brilliant because you're in the forefront of AI. And I think innovation, being creative, and as you just said, testing tools and trying to find out what they can do for brands is a great task to do. Now, if a brand approaches you at Avenue Z, what's your approach to find out what kind of services and tools you use to help them best?
Yeah, it all starts with the audit. So we never come in with strategy or recommendations unless we have a full understanding of the business, the history of the business, what's happened in the past year, how is it trending, what is the forecast for the upcoming year, and we identify issues. If there's stagnancy in growth over the past year, we understand why. Is it new customer revenue growth is slowing? Is it because returning customers have declined and now we're relying solely on new customers? So we understand every element of the business, and then we get to the bottom of it and provide solutions and a roadmap. So if they need technology, which a lot of times they do, to fix whatever issues are present or use technology to hit whatever goals they might have, then that's it. That's when we introduce those things. And we typically use the first month of every engagement to start that roadmap. We identify the audit before they're an active client, but then that first month is really further strategy and then execution of some of those things that we identified are critical.
Mm-hmm. For the brands that are approaching you right now, how much is the acceptance rate of tools they already use in the AI sector? Are they coming like a blank sheet and using nothing, or is it a mixed bag?
Yeah, it's a pretty mixed bag. I'd say it's gotten better over time. I mean, brands used to come to us with like virtually no tech stack whatsoever. And we would bring in all the different apps they would need in the Shopify ecosystem to improve average order value or conversion rate, whatever it may be. Brands seem like they're more ready now. They don't seem to be adopting AI tools yet. And that's where we come in. And honestly, we have agency subscriptions for a lot of the tools that we just use across all of our clients. So we don't really need them to adopt it. We're the ones that are bringing it and kind of using it as part of the service delivery. So it hasn't really been a struggle to translate what works for us onto our client work.
Mm-hmm. For our listeners, more on a practical side, can you give an example or a case study? And you don't necessarily need to tell us who the brand is, on how they implemented your services, your tools, and what kind of results they saw.
Yeah, I think the best one is brand came to us 3 months ago and already had some pretty good traction. And they had a lot of traction actually in a TikTok shop space. And we were charged with growing their Shopify instance. And so what we did was we came up with a process where we took all the TikTok shop traction. We were able to leverage all of those affiliates, hundreds, actually thousands of affiliates that had already posted on TikTok shop and have gotten paid commissions, and turned them into Meta whitelisted influencers for the brand. So think about it. We inherited this brand and this wasn't being done yet. We came up with that process to outreach all of those affiliates. And then literally within a week, we had access to over 3,000 Instagram and Facebook pages to run Meta ads with that content they already produced and coming from each of those influencer pages. And we have the tool that we brought to the table to bulk publish all of those ads on Meta. And now we're using a lot of that content on YouTube Shorts ads. We're using a lot of that content on AppLovin. And we're using it on Snapchat, soon to be Reddit. And so like they came to us and now we've already 4x daily revenue because of this process. Not only did we 4x daily revenue, and we scaled ad budgets at least 3 times the daily amount that they were prior. Performance has gotten more efficient at 3 to 4x level of scale. So blended return on ad spend, MER at the store level has gotten far better just because of that simple approach. And we're launching 1,000 ads a month at least right now.
That just shows you that's nothing that you can do on a manual level. That's where AI comes
Exactly.
in. Hopefully the brand can cope with the scale that they now have to deal with. I mean, it's like 4x. That is a lot of sales.
Yeah. We're very happy.
I can imagine, and I hope a lot of listeners are right now very concentrated on listening what you say next. Now, who's your perfect customer? Who's coming to you?
The best customer is someone that has budget to afford many of our services, I would say. So they have to be doing 8 figures in revenue to truly get the most out of our team. So anytime a brand comes to us, the more budget they have, the more resources we can deploy. We have dedicated resources for search, for social, for influencer, for creative, you name it. There's dedicated resources. The bigger team we could assemble and control every part of the funnel, the better off the brand will be, the more that we can predictably succeed on the client. And I would say those that have access to a ton of creative, whether it's they're creating a ton of their own creative themselves on the branded side, or they have a ton of influencer content. The more creative we have to work with, we do all the creative strategy and the editing, the more raw assets we get from the client, the better off we'll be, because now we can really hit the volume needs of the platforms.
Mm-hmm. Tell me about the onboarding process. You already touched a little bit on it. How long does it take to get onboarded and to get up and running?
Yeah, I mean, any brand that comes to us, they obviously have existing ad spend already. So day one after our kickoff call, we're already taking over existing spend. And it would take like 2 to 4 weeks for us to get new creatives introduced into the account, have the full account restructurings done, any tech that we recommended that was needed, especially conversion API, like server-sided tracking tools. It takes typically 2 to 3 weeks to have those fully ingested and deployed. I'd say by the end of week 4, we're fully onboarded and our full strategy is deployed across all the channels.
Want to go one step back to AI. What's the biggest risk of brands who are not adapting to AI?
Yeah, there's 2 ways. I mean, if you're still media buying in days of the past with tens of creatives per month, performance is just going to decline. Brands, your competitors that are launching multiples higher of creative per month, they're able to serve more personalized ads because that's all it is. In the auction, which is milliseconds, Meta can recall thousands of ads at scale now and identify which of those 1,000 creatives are most likely to convert to the person they're going to serve your ad to. So if you only have 20 creatives to choose from, it's not going to be as personalized to the algorithm as it will be if your competitor is beating you out there. And then there's the AI search part, right? So if your brand has already grown to the level it has now, but it's not going to be found in AI search, which is where Gen Z and all the energy and momentum is going right now, your brand is going to be left in the organic search engine results page, and it's not going to be found where your consumers actually are. So you have to think about that, and it's actually a big arbitrage opportunity. If you are a challenger brand now, you can get across and start beating out these household name brands in AI search. People are going to keep using ChatGPT forever, looking for certain products and doing product research, or they talk to the chat about a certain problem they have, and there's always a solution to that problem that is typically a consumer product. And so if you're not in that conversation, your competitors are, or vice versa, top names in your space are, and you aren't, it's an area that you can really shine now and win another top of funnel channel. So I think that's the main point that I have today, is that organic search has never been used for top of funnel. ChatGPT, Perplexity, those are top of funnel channels right now. It's word of mouth. That's the best way to categorize it. And you want to be in the mouths of every LLM.
It sort of confirms what my gut feeling was. And I'm basically observing myself on how I use these tools, or my search behavior, how it has changed. And again, I think for brands out there, it's very important to stay on top of that. Paid traffic, definitely 100%. That will not go away. That's the fastest way to find new customers. And then optimizing, obviously, for the LLM models, highly recommended. Before our coffee break comes to an end today, is there anything you want to share with our listeners that we haven't covered yet?
I would say if you're interested in AI search optimization, which you need to be, or else you shouldn't be in marketing or on the brand side at all moving forward, you should follow Avenue Z. We have those AI search visibility index reports. They come out at least once a month. We have our health and wellness supplement index report coming out in the next couple of weeks. So be sure you can actually go on our website, avenuez.com, go to AI research, and you can actually sign up for the wait list so you'd get notified by email every time a new report drops. So you could understand what's working for that category, that product vertical, and why, and just stay up to date on all those trends, and they change on a day-to-day basis. So that's the number one thing. Number two, I also have a newsletter myself. So I'm also active on social. So feel free to find me on Twitter, on LinkedIn, or my blog newsletter, which is at jonathansnow.com.
Cool. I will put all the links in the show notes. You will be just one click away. I will definitely sign up because I'm curious what's happening in AI and I want to be on the forefront on the technology there. For our listeners, go into show notes, sign up. You will definitely get some value out of it. John, thanks so much for your time today. I hope a lot of people will reach out to you, and let's see what AI brings for the future.
Appreciate it.